Live from the JC Newman Cigar Studio in Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Smokin Nicole.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I'm joined once again by the beautiful Smokin Nicole, who sits here right next to me. I'm just going to lean over you really quick, and I just want to adjust a little bit on my microphone there.
You're way in my space.
I'm sorry. I couldn't reach it. It was all the way over there.
Totally fine.
The audio just sounded off. I think I got it now. My headset was a little wonky when I started, so.
So was mine. I feel like it was a rush start today.
Yeah, kind of, sort of. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, we're here. We're back. We missed last week's show. I wasn't feeling well. It was a game time decision. It was a last minute decision. But unfortunately, I just physically wasn't feeling up to it. So we had to postpone. Also, there wasn't anyone coming on too. So obviously that made the decision easier. I never like to cancel. And it's true, and I know how that sounds, but it's true. I mean, when you have a guest coming on, it's kind of like, the last thing you need to do or ever want to do is cancel, especially when they've taken the time out of their day, their schedule to make sure they're there, set up. So when there's not someone there, you never want to cancel a show ever, but the decision is much easier, obviously, when you're like, well, I don't have a guest, so I'm wasting their time or whatever. So that's just what happened there. So I feel better now. I'm fine, but we're here. We're back.
We're smoking cigars.
We're smoking cigars. We're smoking Atabeys tonight. Nicole's going to smoke the Spiritus. I'm going to smoke the Delirios, or Delirious. As I said, I'm not good with pronunciation. But you can find these cigars at twoguyscigars.com. The Spiritus is the Lancero size. That cigar retails for $32. And the Delirios is more of I would say you'd call it a Robusto, but it's a little longer than the standard Robusto. It's kind of in between, and it's got a slightly slimmer ring gauge to it. I don't know. I'd call it in between a Robusto and a Toro. That is also $32. You can find those cigars at the number 2guyscigars.com today. They have all of the Atabeys cigars, all of the sizes. How many sizes do they have? I forget. We've talked.
They have quite a few.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think it's 13. They got 13 sizes. They also got the Delirios in the box for $7.99, or you can get a 3-pack in the tubes for $105. That's also a good deal too. The 3-packs, those are great, especially when you're gonna be with friends. You grab a 3-pack, 1 for you, 2 for friends. Can't beat it. I think the fresh packs are the best. What manufacturers got going on with the fresh packs, usually 4 or 5 cigars. I think Gurkha's with the Revenant is 6, but those are great. They're usually priced well. They're great. The cigars actually stay fresh. They have the gel lining in them. They're colorful. They're really popular. Those always are a great buy.
Live from the JC
sorry,
Newman.
that's my bad.
What'd you do?
I went on the wrong screen. It happens. It's a thing. Sorry, I was interrupting you talking.
But no, that's it. You can find all that fun stuff at the number 2guyscigars.com. And as always, we are cutting and lighting our cigars today with our Cigar Blondie accessories. Shout out to Cigar Blondie, Leo, our friend Leo, the beautiful Leo. You also may know her from Nova Cigars, but Cigar Blondie is a separate venture. It's her own thing. It's her accessories brand that she started. They're awesome lighters, the slim, flat blade flame, double guillotine cutter, real firm, solid. You can find those at cigarblondie.com.
Okay, well, I just poured myself a drink. This is TGIF. This is my Friday. I am tired, if you couldn't tell.
She's exhausted.
I'm exhausted. It's been a week. My car broke down. So there was that. We had to go car shopping this week. It was not fun. There is literally nothing on the market. I don't know if any of you listening today have had to buy a car lately, but it is absolutely terrible.
Oh, it's horrendous. It's horrendous.
People are still rude.
Well, here's the thing. There's multiple layers. Anyone who's ever bought a car or ever just kicked the tires in a dealership before knows what a pain in the ass it really can be. First of all, you get your standard pushy salesman. I mean, that part of it is always there, no matter where you go, for the most part. There's been a few who are actually pretty good. The guy that I get my trucks from is pretty good.
I feel like in all my years, I haven't really had that pushy asshole salesman, but like we actually ran into that stereotypical one at the first dealership that we had gone to this week. And it just put me in a mood to not want to deal with anything.
The other part of it too that you notice, he was a much younger fellow.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Probably, if I was to take a stab in the dark, 27 to 32.
Yeah,
right?
I agree with that.
So, part of it also, seasoned veteran car salesmen do it too, right? Especially ones that have been around a long time and they've been successful. They got an ego and they think they're badass. But even the younger guys, right? This younger kid, he comes out of the gate thinking like, I'm a car salesman now. I got to be a tough guy. I just got to be pushy to make the sale. But it's all about how you approach it too. I mean, you can be pushy in sales and not come across as being a dick.
So the dealership we went to quite literally had 5 cars left. Most of the cars, I guess, are being sold in transit nowadays.
In terms of like new inventory.
Yeah, for new inventory. And so, the shipments are on their way. Maybe they're 2 or 3 weeks out, but half the cars are already sold, if not that. And so they only had a handful of crappy cars left on the lot. And not crappy meaning actual crap. They were new, but they were like ugly colors, like price point packages that were just way out of, like extra I wasn't looking for any bells
they had
or
like
whistles
nice, nice quality models and vehicles. It was like, when you go to a dealership and they're like, "Oh, I got this special I can give you. I got a red with like a cream and brown interior." And you're like, "Who the fuck drives around in that color combo? That makes no sense." That's what they had left. And of course, because nobody wants that. People want black. They want white. They want silver gray. They want black interior.
And it was like the highest level trim.
Yeah.
And but for the color, like I feel like no one would want that. Anyway, so he was just like really pushy because he was trying to get us into that specific car when it was not anything I was looking for.
No. Wasn't even close.
Nothing.
And we told him. And he was like, we were just like, all right, well, you know what? This we're gonna keep on shopping because we're trying to find something that she likes better, and it was and the recline thing just popped out on me. I wasn't in all the way.
We got a new chair in the studio and you already broke it. That came this week.
It didn't break. It's just the recline stick is not in there all the way.
So here's a comment from Bruce. Carvana says they're selling cars for less than they paid for them since the price dropped on used cars. Now that could be true, Bruce, but what I will say is Carvana and Carfax didn't have a single car listed on their website for less than $18,000.
You mean CarMax?
CarMax, sorry.
Yeah.
Did I say Carfax? Yeah.
Well, Carfax is different.
CarMax and Carvana. So they had nothing less than 18 grand, which is wild. And then on like Auto Trader, wherever I was looking, literally salvage title cars were coming up as options, like for under 18,000. It's wild right now. Obviously, I'm not getting a salvage, but like the airbags have been busted through on all of them. Like, and people are paying good money for those too, right? I mean, people are paying for the salvage cars and just fixing them up. I feel like that's cheaper in some options.
I think for the people who are in that situation, I mean, it's desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work, but. No, in the end, we ended up getting Nicole a nice brand new vehicle with pretty much everything she wanted. So it did work out. But yeah, it's that whole song and dance. You got to go to the dealerships, and it's all smoke and mirrors with those guys too.
But can I just say that it was so satisfying today when I got an email from the first dealership and the asshole guy reached back out to be like, hey, so like he reached out twice. He left me a voicemail and then emailed me, and he was like, oh, hey, I just want to follow up because he was like, if you walk away today, then, you're walking away from this great deal and all of this. And I went, like, literally, I think one of the next dealerships we went to, the guy, super nice, same deal, but gave him my business because obviously he wasn't an asshole. So it was very satisfying to tell him I bought a car at the dealership, maybe like 5 minutes down the road from him. I don't know if that's mean or not, but
you know what? I mean... Look, I've done it a bunch of times. I'm also one of those people that like I'm not shy. If I walk into an establishment and you're literally in my ass before I've even been able to like stop, look around and see what you even have, I'm going to tell you like I'm all set. I'll come find you when I'm ready. And that's not me being rude. That's me trying to be like, listen, I haven't even like smelled the air freshener in this building yet, and you're already asking me what you need to do to get me to buy it. I'm like, I don't even know what I'm buying yet because I haven't even looked around. So why don't you give me a beat, and I'll let you know. So yeah, it's just most people who've ever been in dealerships and bought cars, which I think most people have. It's just a pain in the ass.
It had been a while for me just because
getting
I've
a new
owned
car
my
is fun. Like when it's over, when you deal with all the bullshit, and then like, all right, cool, like we sign the papers and you get to like see it, and that's the fun part because now all that's over, and then you get in a new car and it's like, oh my god, this is all new, and everyone gets all excited. But that initial, like when you first go in and they're like, so like, what are you looking to drive? And you're like, something with 4 wheels.
It's also just a lot more, I feel like, expensive. I mean, than it was like.
It's true.
And
yeah.
Granted, it's been.
Well, it's a seller's market.
And the last time I bought a car was about 6 years ago, so it's been a while. And my car I had the other day, I stopped in traffic and it rolled into neutral at a stop sign, and so it's slipping into neutral as I'm driving it. So probably not safe. So I had to get something else. But yeah. It was a wild week, and now I'm tired, but I'm happy that's done. And I'm enjoying my canned mojito, courtesy of Bacardi.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Those are really good. I enjoy those a lot.
I do like White Claw.
What flavor? That's not the regular mojito.
This is the mango mojito.
I don't think I've had that yet. Is there another one?
No. We're down to our last can.
Damn. I have to go shopping. I gotta go to Giorgio's and get more of those. That's the only place around here that really has all the flavors. Yeah, no, it was a long week indeed, so we're back, we're finally back, we're glad to be back. We're new car shopped out, we're all done with that, thank God. We're here tonight. We had so last week actually.
Yeah, let's get into this too.
So last week we were supposed to have Lito Gomez Jr. and he canceled. And
boo, but that's okay.
Now, here's the thing. Most of the time, if a guest has to cancel on me, like this week, Oliver Nouveau was supposed to be on from United Cigar.
Also canceled.
And he canceled. Here's the difference, though. Oliver came to me as an intellectual and as a professional and was like, hey, I have a conflict of interest. I got an event that got booked, blah, blah, blah. And I said, Oliver, no problem for you, anything. That's why we're smoking Atabeys tonight in honor of Oliver not being here.
What would have been.
But he's still coming on. He'll be on in a couple of weeks. We reschedule. He'll be on. But but he couldn't come on. I said, no problem. We made it work. Carney had to let me know that Junior wouldn't be able to make it. So he couldn't even come to me himself and be like, yo, I can't make it. I got something going on. He made John do it for him. So, and he canceled on me for the second time. So you know what, Lito Jr., you're out. All right? I'm going to have Tony come on next time instead. We're going to talk about how great he is.
He's going to earn his way back into the circle of invitation.
Yeah. And I'm sure and honestly, if John was here, I mean, it's, he'd probably be like, yeah, you know what? I don't know. I feel like Connie wouldn't fight me too much on it either. But yeah, so that's what's going on. So there is no one with us tonight. So we decided, and we're, as we move forward, we've been making changes to the show. We're trying to find different things to do. And we don't want to have guests on every week as much, so we can try to do some different things with the show. And it's hard to do different things when you always have someone on with you. So this week we were talking about what we were going to talk about, and it's November. So first of all, we're heading towards the end of the year. So Cigar of the Year list stuff is about to begin. Us and the team, I've already talked to the other guys on the team about this. It's, kind of get prepared, get your head straight. We're going into this. So
into the fire.
So we're working on that. As we kind of get into that, we're also looking at, so as a general or a rule of thumb, not necessarily directly pertaining to the cigars that are going to be on the list, but in a bigger whole as the industry, kind of who are the people who are leading the way in terms of, just overall sales, popularity, growth, and who has the most connect with the consumers. It's not just who sells the most cigars. And I got this inspiration from Coop, from the Cigar Coop team. Him and Bear, about a month or so ago, they did the Cigar Industry Power Ranking show, and they both did a list, and they listed kind of who they thought. I really liked that idea. I spoke with Coop about it, and I said, hey, do you mind if I do something with this? I don't want to step on your toes and copy. I'm going to do something kind of a little bit different, but kind of the same theme. He's like, no, absolutely not. He goes, if you're getting inspiration from it, then it served its purpose. So I said, cool. So I kind of came up with something that's broken up into 3 different categories. We have who's in control, who's hot, and who to look out for. So, basically anyone who's in
Who to watch.
or who to watch.
Look out.
Basically anyone who's in control, being a company who, in all aspects of it,
Yeah.
I mean, they're deep engaged with the consumers. They have cigars that they're moving. They not only just good quality cigars, but they have cigars moving. They have, everyone's smoking them. They're on store shelves everywhere you go. A lot of it's the big companies too, because
They are in control.
Of
for
course,
one.
the big companies have the most control. I mean, the bigger you are, the more control you have, right? So you're gonna see kind of a pattern of who's in control is a lot of big companies, and especially companies who've been around a long time. But there's something to be said about that. Then we get into kind of who's hot, which is generally right now, just as a cigar wise, just who's the most popular, who's cigars we see the most, who's selling the most stuff, who's getting the most buzz, who's getting the most praise, who's constantly getting high ratings on reviews out there. And then there's who to watch, who's maybe kind of quiet, but they've been making some moves and they're starting to ramp up some momentum, and I expect
And they're going to ramp further.
Yeah, and maybe next year that they have a huge year. So we'll get into it a little bit, piece by piece. I think we're going to start with who's in control or who's hot. I think we're going to do who's in control.
Who's in control?
Who's in control?
Makes more sense first. So, and I do have I have my notes too. So here we go.
I pulled up the wrong page on mine. I pulled up the front end of the website. I wanted to pull the back end. So this is actually also going to be a written 3-piece set that will be published on the website after the show. So we're going to be reading off of the stuff that's already been written.
And then I would say, don't be surprised, right, with at the end of the year when we come out with our top cigar list. This is where we're going to be getting our inspiration from.
You're talking about the cigars for Cigar of the Year.
Yes.
The actual individual ranking. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's true. I mean, and part of this is you're going to see a lot of cigars from some of these manufacturers probably on a lot, not just our list, but like every list, just because these are the companies who are putting out the cigars that are in that caliber too, for the most part, especially like who's hot, who's putting out the cigars that everybody wants right now that are ranking high. You know what I mean? So it's not going to be too much of a shock. Maybe some will disagree, but hey, that just is what it is. Do you want to start us off? Do you want me to start us off? How do you want to do this?
You can start us off. I mean, we both compiled the list together, but you could start us off.
Also, if you saw the show that Coop and Bear did with the power rankings when they listed their brands, you're going to see some of those names here again. And it's funny because I've talked to Nicole and I've talked to Coop about it, and it was just kind of like, yeah, but those are the brands that I think even we agree with. Those are the ones that have the most control or whatever, the most heat. First one right off the bat for who's in control, Arturo Fuente.
Boom.
I mean, I know what some people will say, for a lot of these brands, right? And this doesn't just apply to Arturo Fuente. You have to address what the negatives people might say.
And
right?
for those listening, we want to hear you chime in the comments if you agree or disagree.
Yeah, of course. We want to hear what other people think too. But so first thing that people are going to say probably about Arturo Fuente, LFD, handful of brands, right? Oh yeah, but their cigars are always backordered. I can't get it. You ask Jay Davis, be like, you tell him, you give Jay a brand, and he'll be like, yeah, but they won't send me this. And they're backordered. It's like, yes, I know they're backordered.
I feel like Jay just gets shit into the stick though. I don't know.
So and it's like, yeah, and it's like, yes, I know there are companies that are backordered. And there's a lot of cigars that are backordered. It is a thing. It is difficult, but at the end of the day, I'd rather have back orders and have people waiting to buy cigars than have like $3 million in cigars that nobody wants to buy. Arturo Fuente, they start us off the list. Look, big company, been around a long time. And the thing is with Fuente is it's not even just about the higher end stuff they make. It's not just about like Opus X and all the crazy stuff they come out with, the rare pinks. I mean, you look at the core line that they have, 858s, Chateau Fuente. I mean,
and where do you see those? Like, I see short stories everywhere. Every gas station.
Hemingway's.
Everywhere. Like, they're everywhere, their core line. Yeah, Opus is hard to get, but I see them everywhere. Like even like our local like Total Wine has them.
Yep.
I'm just places on the side of the highway like
The thing is,
have
and,
them.
and then you look at like who's buying what, and it's like you obviously, yeah, you see a lot of people smoking like the more limited stuff, Opus X, Rare Pink, even some of the other stuff they have, but I consistently see people smoking 858. I see people smoking the Magnum R's. I see people smoking Don Carlos. Those cigars are mostly readily available at most shops. Casa Cuba I see very frequently. You see a lot of short stories, bestsellers, all the different sizes in the Hemingway line. You see those all the time.
I'm so sorry. I just have to read this for a minute. Those brands good too. All love, no hate, but they have not offered to give Coop a sponge bath. Key.
Is Shadow One watching? Oh,
Yes,
that's what's up. That's
differentiator.
what's up. Well, Shadow One, you better stick around because I mean,
You might make the list.
yeah,
Maybe.
Well,
We'll
I think they make the list in multiple categories, and I'll explain what that means.
I feel like they are on a whole nother level and could probably get away with their own list.
Yeah, it's true.
They're just on a different planet.
Like I
over
said,
there.
they're gonna kind of make multiple lists, but it'll make more sense in the end. So, anyway, like I was saying, so and I would say the same with Drew Estate. Drew Estate's also on the list. Drew Estate's another one of those companies, a big company, wide portfolio.
Before you even get into Drew Estate, one thing to mention also is that Liana left the company, but they're still going to hold where they are. Now, normally with a family member of like such key importance, I feel like a lot of companies you'd be like, but I still feel like they have their like where they are.
Well, yeah, I mean, the other thing is too is the other thing about Arturo Fuente that I like, in terms of these big brands, right? They're getting more engaged with the consumers firsthand. I mean, they have the Meet the Professor show they started a few years ago.
Yep.
You're seeing Carlito and Cynthia, Jose. They even get Jeremiah Marifal that's on the show with them and does some other things. You see them connecting with people on social media. They have a show. They're more available, so to speak, now, mostly through social media. But it's another thing, they're engaging with the consumer base, which is a big part of it too, because at the end of the day, the consumers, all of you guys who are watching and listening at home, I mean, you guys are the ones going into cigar shops. You guys are the ones who are buying the cigars and spending the money on product. And, we take an analysis of what we see, online, in shops, whatever, of what people are buying, what are people talking about. And that's one of those brands where I see people buying all ends of the spectrum of their collection, not just the hard to get stuff. You see people watching their shows. You hear people talking about it. I mean, it's everywhere. You go on social media, you go in cigar shops. It's the same. Whether it's one's not bigger than the other. I would probably online probably bigger because there's just more access. But it's just for the sake of the conversation, they cover all the bases, right? But and to your point, that's true. Liana did leave. That was a little bit of a surprise, but it's not I don't think a move that's going to obviously end the company.
No.
The company will continue to thrive.
And I am slightly critical. So the only thing I would critique, is that I feel like they haven't had very many in-person consumer events.
Who? Arturo Fuente?
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess as of late, even their reps engaging in stores. I mean, I feel like there hasn't been any Fuente events. Maybe it's just in our neck of the woods. It might just depend on who the rep is in that area. But at least up here, we're pretty in tune to Rhode Island, New Hampshire, Massachusetts. We pay attention to what's going on. I just feel like I haven't seen anything for an in-person, even like a box selling event. That's the only critique that I would have.
Yeah, I mean, some Fuente events I think would be kind of fun. I think everyone kind of handles their events a little bit differently, and that's why I was starting to kind of get into Drew Estate. And
that's why I was segueing, because Drew Estate, on the other hand,
it's very different. Yeah. It's very opposite. I mean, one of the things you could say about Drew Estate, which will also go along with General, Altadis, and Davidoff, the big four companies that don't attend the trade show. They're not engaging with the retailers at the trade show, and they're not debuting products at a trade show. So where are they doing this? How are they doing this? They've begun to do this through their barn smoker events, which are consumer engaging. Most of the people that would want to be seen or met from Drew Estate, like JD, Willie, Pedro, they are all at those events, and consumers can go and excuse me, They can go, they can see tobacco. Nicole went to the Barn
Yep.
Smoker, actually, so she could speak on this too. And they got new products. They're handing out cigars. They have fun activities. You see in tobacco, you can learn something. You can meet those people that maybe you wouldn't normally get to meet. Like those of us in the media, we interact with those people, but the average consumer doesn't. That's a great opportunity for them to go and have that
then
kind of access.
the other engagement, I would say, is from Freestyle Live. I mean, just
Yeah.
think of that engagement. So not only do they just sort of have the market on like in-person, large scale, in-person consumer events.
And Drew Estate is, I'm sorry,
But
the Freestyle Live is actually the primary releasing factor of how they're bringing their new brands out now.
yes, but also just, the Freestyle Live, that is how they're bringing them in. But that's like a huge deal. Didn't they give away like a Dodge Charger on one of those too? Like,
Yeah, so I think the last one, which was the Metallica, the M81, that one is, they gave away, I think, a guitar. I think they gave away like a Gibson Les Paul, not a cheap guitar. They gave away a Dodge Charger. One of them they gave away Bitcoin.
yep, they gave away a Bitcoin. That's
I
true.
can't remember one of them they gave away. I think the first one was it the first one when they did Underground 10 that they gave away like a tiki bar or something like that. That's when Joe came on when he was with them.
I can't remember, but they have some. I mean,
But
they
I
are
just-
also the kings of swag.
But I feel like that's true. But I feel like every single time they do a freestyle live, like the other giveaways, like just keep getting better and better. And it's like, what are they gonna do next? It's kind of like, all right, so the next freestyle live, what are they gonna give away now? They're giving away a condo. I mean, they give away Bitcoin, they give away cars, nice guitars, just all sorts of crazy stuff. So I mean, yeah. But again, engagement. Their cigars are on most shelves. People are buying them. They have a wide selection of stuff. They have ultra premiums. They have the Liga Privada collection. They got the Underground collection, Herrera Estelite. They have all the infused stuff like Acid. They have the Java, the Tobacco Specials. They have that wide spectrum of many different products that many different kinds of smokers with different palates can pick from and still stay under their umbrella. One of those things you have to do to stay in control of everybody, right? You have to offer something for everybody. And then you have to execute it with your events and with your unveilings of your cigars and getting people interested in building that hype when you have a new product coming. But the Freestyle Live, it's a win-win. And it's easy. You get some cigars, you get to try them before you know what they are. It's a great way for Drew Estate to get them in people's hands ahead of time and get it going, pique the interest, not just go, this cigar is coming out. You send out a press release and then it's on store shelves and then people have to remember that when they walk into a store and go, oh yeah, what's new? No, people are going to know right away. And they're going to be like, hey, where's that cigar that Drew Estate, made the fuss about? They made a whole unveiling. They're going to remember that. So that's great. I mean, they've done a great job executing that. It's I think that's the next generation for them, really.
Yeah.
And we talked about, them not being at the trade show. I think this is how they make up for it. Obviously, they don't spend as much money to go to the trade show. So they're saving money doing that. They're spending that money that they would be spending on these other things that have worked for them. Now, are we also saying that we don't think that they should be at the trade show? I'd like to see them at the trade show. It's nice to have them there. It's nice to see them there. It's to have everyone together.
I hope they come back.
I
Yeah.
do. Just the atmosphere is not the same. So there is that. But from a business standpoint, I know why they're doing it, and I can see how it pays off for them. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. Well, moving on. My father is also on this list.
My father's an interesting one because I had them on the list because they've come a long way. And there's another name on that list that there's a lot of similarities between.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you already read through all of it, but
Yeah, I did.
And when we get to that other name, it'll make more sense. But yeah, they're one of those brands that, they make their own cigars. My father, they got the Don Pepin Garcia, they got all the other stuff that they have. But they also make a lot of cigars for other people. And not only that, but they're making good cigars,
Yes.
popular cigars. Look at everything they've done for Pete Johnson at Tatuaje. Tatuaje is obviously not a big brand like Perdomo, Drew Estate, Arturo Fuente, but Pete has done an amazing job with that brand over the years and building it up to what it is today. And he's worked with a great factory, with Pepin, down at My Father. They've made some good stuff. They made some good blends, some really good releases. But, even the other brands, like they've made cigars for Ashton with La Roma de Cuba and Cristobal. Just to name a few others. I mean, they're making cigars for other people, which is important because you have these other big companies buying cigars from you. You have your own stuff you're making. You have people like Pete Johnson you're working with as well, and they just seem to consistently keep growing and putting more bricks in their wall and getting bigger and bigger. It's another one of those brands. Everywhere I go, not only do I see my father on the shelf, but then I see all the cigars that they make for everyone else, right there with them, fighting for shelf space.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's something to be said about the control of the shelf space.
And they're consistent. They're
consistent.
always there. They're always stocked. They're always, like, the quality is consistent.
Yeah.
The portfolio is diverse. Like,
Yep.
it's all there.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that it's, another thing is consistency. When we talk about these brands, right? You said it, consistency is key. It's huge. People want to make sure that they can continue to get the cigars that they enjoy, and they stay the same way they are. They stay good quality, they burn right, they taste right, the blends are the same, they're not off, and just everything is always just working away the way it should. And yeah, great example with my father that's doing a really good job of that. And I'm excited to see where they go in another 10, 20 years. I mean, really, I think that the sky's the limit for them right now. Who else we got on the list?
Perdomo.
Oh. That's easy.
I know. Well, you're like, oh.
No, no. Don't take that the wrong way. That's not Perdomo. That's like a soft. That's an underhand.
I know.
That's an underhand Perdomo.
I
I mean, what could I tell you that Nick's not already told everybody? I mean, look, they're vertically integrated. I mean, their cigars are always on the shelf.
Do Nick's sales pitch. Do the whole thing.
Well, no. I mean, I would just I'll probably simplify it a little bit more, than Nick would say. But look, I mean, at the end of the day, Perdomo makes some very, very high quality, very consistent cigars, okay, at a very good price point. Their average price point's like, what, $7 to $11, $12, I think, on average, or even like their upper end stuff. I mean, it's hard not to give them any credit or to give them any. I mean, you go in any cigar shop, there's Perdomo right there on the shelf. You got Habanos, you got 20th anniversary, the new 10th anniversaries have been great. The 30th anniversary was supposed to come out this year, but we talked to Nick at the trade show, and
they do a decent job of their online engagement. They also do a decent amount of in-person events.
They do
as well.
Yeah, their in-person events are great, and the other thing about their in-person events, all the Perdomos usually come.
Yep.
Like, if your last name's Perdomo,
you have to be there.
They're there. You know what I mean? Like, Nick's there, Nicholas is there, Janine is there. And I think sometimes they usually travel, like, maybe with, like, Natalie and the other kids, too. Sometimes, just from the things I see from, events and stuff, they stay together. They're tight-knit. They have a well-oiled machine. Cigars are affordable, but they're a great quality. There's no sacrifice there. They're also one of the companies that very rarely do you see a back order. I mean, Nick's very good about that. They always have their inventory for the most part on shelves.
I'm just laughing because we have quite the turnout in the audience today. Matt Booth was in here for a little bit. I don't know if he still is, but Unknown User.
I know who they are.
Sure.
Hold on.
I know who Unknown User is too.
Yeah, so Unknown User
we did ask
is Carney, and and this is the fucking crazy part, is I asked him when I made this shirt, and this is what you get for not coming on. But if you want to come on, I'll send you a link. Just text me. But I said, hey, I'm making a shirt. Can I use the name Chisel? Figuring John would be like, for you, I'll let you guys use it. Okay. No, I can't let you do it. I'm like, all right. And I didn't fight him on it, but I asked him. And then he comes on this show, and he's like, I can't believe you never asked. The Chisel should be on there. I did ask. He told me no. So let that also be a lesson to everyone out there that even sometimes people think, because I spend so much time with John that, like, I get whatever I want. That's not true. I can't get that. I can't have Chisel on my cool shirt because John said no. And
I feel like I need to redesign some of our clothing, but it's
fine. And that's fine. Unknown User, I am being censored. John Carney. Yeah, every time you've commented, whether it's this show or Spare No, like, I don't know, and I don't know why. It just comes up as a Facebook like icon for the photo, and then it just says Unknown User. But I always know it's you. Let's see. Matt
worked up here.
Matt Booth is here. This is just average talk for me and John. It's okay.
Okay. I mean, take a Take a deep breath.
Well, he's calling me out on stuff that didn't happen. He's lying.
John, you got to not get him worked up.
Don't spread lies, Carney. I don't like that. Come on.
Okay.
But but Booth is here too, which is great because I love when Matt comes on. Matt will actually be on the show in a couple weeks, and I have to send him. We have to send him.
Oh yeah, we have to send Matt Booth his package.
We have a package. Matt knows about it.
Yes.
We're sending him a package that will be used when he comes on the show.
I don't know. I feel like we should share and see if people want to buy it and join in on the feed.
So we're going to be doing a Christmas cookie
cigar pairing from
pairing.
Costco.
That Nicole actually made that happen through a small comment feed that happened on a Facebook post somewhere, and I said, fuck it, let's do it. So I'm like, who am I going to do it with? So I was like, well, Matt's already been on like 3 times, so I had to do something really different. So I asked him, I said, if I send you a tin of the Christmas cookies from Costco, can we do a pairing on the show? And I got, fuck yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. So that's what we're doing when Matt comes on. I don't remember what, I think it's
coming up in December.
Second week of December?
We'll post the link, but for those of you listening in right now, if you want to buy the tin and bring your favorite Room 101 cigars, we will pair them up with these cookies and find the best the best match.
Matt, I will put Chisel on a shirt. Thank you, John.
Ooh.
Oh man, I'd buy that shirt too. So yeah, no, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing with Matt. So stay tuned for that. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. That'll be a good time. So anyway, where were we at? We're Perdomo. Yeah. So Perdomo, like I said, Perdomo. I mean, that's like I said, it's just an easy one. I mean, they got great consumer engagement. They got their hands on the events. They've been doing a great job with social media. They have a Facebook group that even Nick is pretty active in as well, and people can always get his attention there. They have a YouTube channel. They've done a great job creating their own content, their own original in-house content, and then of course the cigars. The cigars speak for themselves. I mean, the last time Nick released a new cigar was the 10th anniversary. The Sun-Growns and the Maduros. The Maduro won several awards. It was on our top. Was it on our top 10 last year? Was it in our top 15?
Can't remember if it was that. Yeah.
I can't remember, but it was in the list last year somewhere.
And side note before we move on, Jeff says we need soap ratings again. John, there's your calling. He could, in theory, I know Carney can't be on the show every week, but he could pre-record a segment. Just throwing that out there, and we can play it.
John, in your travels, if you want to do a soap review and record it and then send it to me, I'll just play it during the show.
Yeah.
It'll give me an excuse to get up and go to the bathroom. Give me a few minutes. Because it's nice because I can take us off, play this video. So sometimes you need that break. We don't have a commercial break on this show, which is something we might change. But,
yeah.
It would be a nice little breakup time. You know what I mean? So, and it's great because people want to see more soap reviews.
Yeah.
My sister had a great soap at her house. What was that soap? It was Myers, and I think it was like the limited edition winter.
Let's not get into soap right now.
It was good. It was
Carney's
good.
not on the show.
We
got to get back to the cigars
right.
for a minute.
Okay.
At least.
See, even Carney's on the comments. He's still here.
Well, we have a couple different a few different categories. So we are still in our first category we're talking about, which is who is in control for cigar brands. So, continuing down the list, Plasencia.
Plasencia made this list because they are similar to what we have perceived from my father. So as I mentioned before, there was another brand that was similar. Plasencia is one of those brands. Look, the Plasencias make a lot of cigars. They make a lot of cigars for a lot of people. They've been doing it for a long time. It wasn't until recently that, they came out with their own, Plasencia line, which even, it's not that old. It's not been around too long. But in the short time that it has, I mean, they've made some great fucking cigars. I mean, they have some awesome stuff. They had a cigar in our top 10 last year. They have cigars that consistently get high ratings.
I feel like I've never heard someone say I hate a Plasencia.
I'm sure there's people out there who don't like them, but you're right.
No.
They do get a lot of praise.
Or just I hate Plasencia.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll take that back. Hate Plasencia. They might not like one flavor, but I feel like they love other things that they have to offer,
Yeah. But again, they're another one of those brands. They make a lot of cigars for people, right? Big factory. They've been doing it a long time. They know their stuff. They have great quality tobaccos, great quality cigars, very consistent.
Sorry, I'm laughing at this comment.
But again, they dominate shelf space with their own stuff and the stuff that they make for others. I think Matt can correct me because he's here. I think they've made some things for Matt over the years. I know he makes a lot of his stuff with AJ Fernandez, William Ventura. I think Oliva was one of them one time, but I thought maybe he did some stuff with Plasencia. I could be wrong. But, just they're another one of those companies. Now, while they're not like a Drew Estate where they're heavy on the events and stuff, their strengths are more in the overall control they have with all of their product and what they're getting out on store shelves, which is huge.
Oh, I remember the soap at your sister's house, but I don't remember what it was called either.
Wow, that's fucked up.
I'm sorry, guys.
Matt, you better
I'm childish.
Matt,
it's
you better
fine.
get shadow one in line. That's just a little fucked up. That's fucked up.
Anyway,
We're gonna have a chat about this after the show,
I guess
Matt.
so.
Give him a ring. Be like, you gotta get shadow one in line.
Sorry.
So yeah, no, that's where I'm at with Plasencia. Going back, sorry, did you have anything you wanted to add to that one, or are you just laughing at the comments still?
No, I'm laughing at the comments still. It's fine. But no, I think we're ready to move on from Plasencia because it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
But we'll hit this last name on the list before we move on to the next list. And that's going to be Scandinavian Tobacco Group.
Hold on, there's one thing I wanted to add,
What?
actually. I just saw the comment from Alan Rubin, who commented here, and he's right. He makes a good comment. Plasencia make a lot more money from growing and selling tobacco, and that, I actually forgot about that. They also sell a lot of tobacco, not just the cigars, but the tobacco itself. They grow a lot, they sell a lot, that other people buy from them to make cigars elsewhere or make them themselves. That is a good point too, and I did forget and leave that out. But yeah, I mean, even just the selling of the raw tobacco is a huge business for them too.
Yep.
They've done a huge job with that. But yeah, Scandinavian. So STG, General Forged, one of the several names that they go by now. It's a little confusing nowadays because you got General, you got STG, you got Forged. Look, big company. It feels like this year they've been banging out press release after press release coming across my desk with new products coming out. I'm like, wow, I got something new. It was like for like 2.5, 3 months there. Almost every week I was getting.
It was like bam, bam.
Yeah.
I feel yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot.
The Sanjo Panza.
Yeah.
I know, sorry. Inside joke there.
The reworks of Sanjo Panza, Los Stados Deluxe. Matt. Matt Booth was here watching the show. He had a hand in that too. Obviously, they acquired the Room101 Cigars brand from Matt as well, so that's new. That'll be sold under the Forge label. That's a whole nother brand that's already been on the market for a while. That's led by a guy like Matt, who really just has the creativity and everything that goes along with the soul that brand is. That's going to stay with it and continue to go under the STG ownership. I think it's going to be great. But they have they just released a whole new flavored cigar line.
Yep.
They got some new stuff from Diesel. They got some new stuff with CAO. They got everything they're going to be doing with Matt. They reworked the Los Stados Deluxe.
Did
Sancho
they partner
Panza.
with Buffalo Trace? Yep.
They also partnered
Sazerac.
in Sazerac Buffalo Trace.
Yep.
They did some cigars with the Cohiba line that are... sorry, I lost my momentum there. Some of the Cohiba cigars that have come out have been done in partnership with them with the Weller brand, the WL Weller brand.
Mm-hmm.
They've also come out with a Buffalo Trace cigar. There was an Eagle Rare cigar I think they did. I can't remember for sure. I remember seeing it. I'm pretty sure it was General who did that. So, again, kind of getting into there's a bourbon boom right now. If you're a bourbon drinker, you follow bourbon, you have all the the Wellers and the Blantons and Pappy and all that stuff that you probably have seen us drink or maybe you know about. If you don't know anything about that, there's an incredible boom for bourbon right now. A lot of very popular bottles that traditionally are not even very high in MSRP, but they've become very allocated because of their minimal supply that they have. And I think it was interesting to see them, partner with some of those brand names and do kind of that crossover with the cigars, to kind of take advantage of that market too. Because, a lot of cigar smokers are whiskey drinkers, Scotch, bourbon, Irish whiskey. So, of course, that goes hand in hand. That's another good venture that they've had, kind of using the fan base from that, kind of bringing in maybe a new smoker. They've done some new things, some interesting things. They have their hand on the pulse of this industry too. They make a lot of stuff for other people as well. They do a lot of events. They have a lot of products. It's stuff that I see everywhere. I see everyone smoking it. whether it's Cohiba or it's Diesel or it's, now Room 101 counts. Just kind of the same thing. They're kind of a little bit of everything that everyone else on the list has, I would say. Maybe their events are not quite like Drew Estates, or they don't have, whatever, the same kind of...
Well, not everyone on that list has all of those sort of...
Right.
Like events and in-person and, big scale, even like an online presence on that list. Because there are very few that have it all, to be honest. That all slay it all, like in every single category in terms of like consumer engagement. So, but they are still up there.
That's true. I mean, and it's, like in baseball, right? If anyone's a baseball fan, you'll have if anyone's really into baseball and you get into scout talk, you'll hear people talk about players as, well, that's a 5-tool player. Like Bryce Harper is considered a 5-tool player. Now, that's a player who can run, can throw, can field, can hit, and hit with power. Most players don't have all those 5 attributes. They got like 2, maybe 3. So I kind of use that analogy. When you look at the people on this list, like some of them will have some of those strengths and maybe they don't have all of them. So not everyone's got all of the strengths where they dominate every aspect of everything we're talking about here. But they have enough of them and their control that they do have is enough to be on the list. Where are we at with, where's the list for who's hot right now?
Who's hot? So part 2 is who's hot. But before we even hit that list, I'm wondering, why don't we hit news?
Yeah, sure.
Maybe quickly. And then I kind of want to do our top 3.
Okay.
And just like bang it out the way, because today's going to be a longer episode with the 2 other lists, to be honest. So
that's true.
And bang out that fun stuff.
So our news this week is brought to you once again by Micallef Cigars. If you head over to MicallefCigars.com today, you can sign up to become an official ambassador. Get your ambassador number and coin, and while you're ready, head over to Facebook and check out the Ambassador Facebook group. Micallef Cigars recently just released their Collector's Edition, which is fantastic. So go to your local brick-and-mortar retailer. If you can't, find it online. Their Collector's Edition is great. They get 2 of every one of their legacy brands in that small, that 4x30? 32, I can't remember. The little small Lonsdray sizes that the Migdalia Special Edition came in, which are great. It's really interesting. We really enjoyed that small format in the Migdalia, so it was interesting to smoke those in all the different blends. So go and check that out today, Micallef Cigars. There's a couple of interesting things that I want to bring up here on the news. First of all, La Flor Dominicana is in the news again this week. And all these stories you can read at SmokinTabacco.com. La Flor Dominicana's NFTs are now available. They have been shipped to their winners. 6 of the 7 owners are retailers who all plan on reselling these.
Yep.
Some of them are already kind of fetching a price tag of $200 per cigar. I think is it Cigar Country? One of them I think is offering a slightly reduced rate if they buy it in like a 5-pack or something like that.
Interesting. I feel like I've been in my own little world this week, so I haven't really been paying attention to cigar news.
Yeah, it happens.
There's a lot of it.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on. So yeah, the La Flor Dominicana NFT, the Andalusian Bowl in the Lonsdale size. So if you were looking to get it and you're looking to spend the money on it, you can go to one of those retailers. You can check it out. They do have them now. I think, like I said, they're all doing kind of something different, but the average price for what we've seen is around like $200 per cigar. The JC Newman is honoring Veterans Day with the American, which is interesting. In honor of Veterans Day on Friday, November 11th, JC Newman Cigar Co. is partnering with 14 premium cigar retailers across the United States for a special promotion featuring the American cigars. 3rd and 4th generation owners Bobby and Drew Newman will personally attend the event at Corona Cigar Co. in Tampa from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Friday, so tomorrow. That is going to be the list of retailers is up there, including our very own Two Guys Smoke Shop in Nashua, New Hampshire. They're on the list. That's a Diamond Crown Lounge. So they will be, you can find the list of retailers at SmokinTabacco.com on our news page to hear more and to see if they're going to be at a shop near you. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The other thing was I was going to maybe mention Plasencia is doing a limited edition for the FIFA World Cup. Byron has shipped their 1850. Actually, I'm sorry. It launched officially at the Byron Cigar Lounge, and then I think they're going to be shipped out following that. But those have started. And Crown Heads has announced their Azul y Oro, first limited edition release from the Naxa factory. You can read more about all of those at SmokinTabacco.com. That's our news.
Boom. News of the week. All right, well, let's head. So we're going to do our top three. So we're doing this a little bit backwards, and then we'll get back into our list. So let's see here. Boom. I got to get my, hold on, I got to get my soundbite. I ruin this every week. Are you ready?
I'm ready. Room 101.
Watch the Smokin Tabacco show. Eat your vegetables. Take your vitamins. Smoke Room 101.
Welcome to the top three. And in this week, in preparation for Thanksgiving, we're going to talk about our top three Thanksgiving dishes. Want to go first?
Is this exclusive to like turkey and potatoes and like the main entree stuff, or like can it be appetizers? Can it be desserts?
Yeah, it can be anything.
Can it be anything?
Yeah,
It's not specific to like it has to be like turkey. Like,
but what top three things, right? Like would it, like what makes it Thanksgiving? Like if you took those three things away, would it really feel like a Thanksgiving dinner?
First of all, you gotta have turkey. I mean, without the turkey, there's no Thanksgiving. I mean, what's the point? I mean, that's just a given for me. The second thing is a good pie, because after all that's said and done, like nothing says Thanksgiving dessert better than a pie. Christmas is like cake or something. Thanksgiving is pie.
But what kind of pie?
I'm not too picky. I mean, if you want to talk real theme, I mean, pumpkin pie.
Ooh, see,
apple pie.
I could pass on the pumpkin pie.
Really?
I'm a basic white girl when it comes to like pumpkin spice lattes and stuff, but when it comes to pumpkin pie, I can't. I don't want to deal with it. It's gross.
Jeff said pecan pie.
I see.
I don't like pecans.
Maybe it's because I'm a chocolate person.
You know, last year, your stepmom had was it a chocolate cream pie?
Yeah, because I think they ordered pies from like my niece's school.
Yeah.
You know, some schools do like
which she did again,
stuff.
By the way. I saw the other day. We talked about it. She ordered more pie. I don't know what she got, but I know she did.
I'm just saying, we're not going to be here. I'm only teasing.
Oh, yes.
But we can technically tease that, I feel like, right now.
Well, that's all we're going to say. That's all we're going to say.
We're not going to be here for Thanksgiving in this country. And that's all we're going to say. And we will be documenting our experience. We'll
be traveling. We have some things we need to get to.
Yeah.
But more on that later. That's all we're going to say. We're not going to get too into that.
But yeah, so pie I can pass. I guess apple pie, maybe.
I like pie at Thanksgiving.
Okay. So what were your two? So you did turkey. Well, that's kind of boring, but okay.
I don't care.
Well,
you said if it wasn't there, where did
okay, well, ignore the turkey. Turkey is a given.
Okay. So other than turkey?
Other than turkey.
I mean, I love the stuffing.
Okay, that's fair.
For me, that's a big one.
And I like, you're going to laugh at me, no homemade stuffing. Screw that. I want like, what is it, the Stouffer's stuffing? Like in a box, the freeze-dried crap.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
that's what I want.
It's not my favorite, but it works.
You like homemade stuffing?
Yeah.
Oh, see, I there's just something about that box flavor. Maybe it's like, what is it, like wood shavings in it? I don't know. There's just something in it. I don't know.
Well,
cardboard shavings from the box. Maybe.
The other thing that I really enjoy, because it only gets made several times a year, and I know Thanksgiving is usually one of them, is Nicole's lasagna. For me, that's a big deal too.
Is that on your list? No, is that an honorable mention? Or is that your third?
I think that's my third.
Okay, that's your third.
Because I love that lasagna.
I know. It wouldn't be. So in my house, there's a Thanksgiving lasagna. And if that Thanksgiving lasagna is not there, it is not Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We're Italian. That's what we do. We have to throw something on the table that's Italian.
Yeah. I mean, you know, and that lasagna is definitely one of my favorites. I mean, it's...
With inflation, that lasagna is like $80.
Well, there
is a reason it's an $80 lasagna. But
it's because you don't make your own sauce.
I don't. I cheat.
And you use a very specific sauce.
It's from a very specific Italian restaurant.
But we won't say who it is.
What? Well, yeah, I guess no one's going to know anyway. It's a local Italian chain, but we get their meat sauce, and it's very expensive.
It's not the Olive Garden. It's like a real Italian place. It's not like
who would have said the Olive Garden?
Olive Garden is like, you know, it's not real. I mean, that's an insult. If you're Italian.
So it's funny. So let's see in the audience right now. So Mitchell Says mashed potatoes, brown turkey meat, pumpkin pie. Jeff says pecan pie. I probably just
You know what I do? You know what I
pecan.
despise at Thanksgiving that like is like a staple that like everyone goes nuts over?
What?
It's cranberry sauce.
Oh, I love. Okay, so actually that's on my list. I haven't started my top 3, but top 3 canned cranberry sauce.
Like I don't get it. Like
I love it, especially when you put it out on the plate and it's still in the can gelatinous form, and you just slice it off.
I don't love it.
I love it. I think it's me and like one other person in the house who loves it. It's definitely not you, but I just like.
Who, your dad?
No.
Jonathan?
No. I think it's Jonathan. Yeah, it's me and Jonathan. We're like the only ones who eat it. It's fine.
I could see.
Yeah.
I could see. For those who don't know, Nicole's brother. Yeah, he's one of those people when he's got a food he likes. I mean, he's in it. I mean, he's.
I think one year they also saved the cranberry sauce from the year before, so we came over to my dad's house and like it was expired, and he threw a fit.
Like they kept the can.
Yeah, from like the year before, so
Yeah.
it had like been a year expired.
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, it's fine, just eat it." And Jonathan was like, "Who got expired cranberry sauce?" Almost started a fight.
Jonathan is like
In
the
the house.
expired food police in our house. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Okay, so anyway,
That's an hour
so just
discussion,
as
is that?
so it just says oyster dressing. I've never. Is that like a Southern thing or a Midwestern thing, Jeff? Because I don't think we put that on Thanksgiving anywhere.
I don't think I've ever heard of oyster dressing.
Yeah, you need to elaborate. So Jeff, we're waiting to hear you.
Candied sweet potato. That sounds good.
No, well, I don't think we've
No.
ever had a Thanksgiving with sweet potato. To be honest, we don't do that.
No, but it sounds like it would be appropriate.
It would be, but we don't do it. I mean, everyone does it a little differently. But okay, so my top 3 to kill. So canned cranberry sauce makes my list. I would also say green bean casserole, and then I would say my boxed stuffing.
I don't love any of that.
Oh, well, you married me. This is what you picked. That's on you.
Which is very rare because most of the stuff Nicole makes I absolutely love. But I guess I'm not going to miss Thanksgiving that much this year.
I guess not. Good thing we'll be in a country that doesn't celebrate it.
So
Yeah.
I think I'll survive. It's Christmas that like Christmas is different though. The stuff we make at Christmas is better.
Shadow Army. Between the two of you, the whole meal gets eaten. Everyone happy. Exactly, right? He
Yeah.
eats the stuff he wants. I eat the stuff he doesn't like. Perfect. Done. Easy peasy.
It's true.
Yeah. All right.
Food gets eaten in this house. That's for damn sure.
It is. It is. All right. Anyway, so back to our list. And we're excited for Thanksgiving, but also I'm kind of bummed we're going to miss it. So maybe we'll have to like do a Thanksgiving when we get back.
Well, so
Maybe.
I will say this just to address it, and because Thursday is a holiday anyway, we will probably still do a show. What I'm thinking is we might pre-record something and then have it just premiere on maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday. I don't know, but we might pre-record something, and then what we talked about before the show.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should do that for that.
Hmm.
And then we'll record it and we'll just play it, because that way we don't have to worry about doing a live show because we'll be very busy. We won't have the time to actually do it live, so we can pre-record that and we'll play it later.
I'm just scratching my head super quick because Jeff did chime in here. He said like regular dressing or stuffing, but with oysters in it. So they make a whole stuffing with oysters in it.
I didn't know that. I would try it though.
Yeah, we like oysters, so
We
I
like
feel like,
oysters.
but it's
We're
just
oyster people.
definitely not. That is not a New England staple by any means.
I would try it though.
Yeah, I would. I mean, we eat stuffed oysters, so like,
Yeah,
what's the difference?
it's true.
Yeah.
So anyway, who's hot?
Yeah, so the second part of this list is who is hot, and then the third part is who to watch. So who's hot?
Right off the gate.
Right out the gate,
You want to tell us?
La Flor Dominicana. Boom.
La Flor Dominicana. That's right. I know what you guys are thinking. That's just a sympathy nod for Carney. No, it's not. In fact, Carney has nothing to do with why they're on the list. Maybe a little bit.
A little bit.
Maybe a little bit.
I mean, well, but let's see, that NFT thing made a splash.
It did.
Splash.
First of all, in general, the last couple of years, I mean, ever since they got that Cigar of the Year in 2016 from Cigar Aficionado with the Andalusian Bull, I mean, I would just say, as a general rule, LFD has never been the same.
I don't know what happened there. Continue.
Oh, what's that?
Sorry.
They've never been the same. They've been building on that momentum. You know, they came out with the NFT thing earlier this year. It's been huge to them. You know, over $600,000 that they made out just off the auctions on those, just to sell the NFT, and that doesn't even count all the cigars that they're going to continue to sell to those owners as time goes on. They got a new cigar coming out. They got the Soulless coming out sometime in the next few weeks, I believe, according to John. I think it's, if it comes in or whatever, I think it's slated to be released pretty soon. That was blended by Lito Gomez Jr. With, you know, the help of his dad Lito Sr. and his brother Tony. But we would have talked about that last week, but it's okay. That didn't happen. But so that's, you know, that's happening. But another thing I want to mention too is just the TAA chisels.
Yes.
That they came out with this year, the natural and the Maduro, not just one, like both of them.
Yep.
Fucking insane. John knows this. He knows how I feel about those TAAs. And I've said it before, and I think I've even talked about it on Spare Notes with Coop, because Coop, on the Spare Notes show, Coop was talking a lot about the TAA releases that, you know, he felt kind of disappointed with a lot of them. LFD, I thought was one of the best. I love that blend. I like that size. I think they're going to be doing that again in a Solomon shape for next year. So I'm really excited about that.
Yep.
There's the events that they do. I mean, I will say
you guys have to go to one of those events. I don't know. I feel like they haven't gained a lot of traction, but mostly because they are these smaller kind of curated events. They're not done on a large scale because
Nope.
you can't. But if you can get into one of those gourmet smoke sessions, or if your local shop is, you know, doing one, hosting one, whatever, go. Because you get John Carney slaving away over a meal for you.
You know, and it's funny because
and a great cigar.
You know, John and I have talked about this before, and I think he was telling me that one of the retailers one time was like, "Oh man, like this thing sold out so fast. Like, I wish we could do a lot more people." And John was like, "No, like, I like it to be on the smaller side. I like it to be more intimate. I like the fact that everyone gets to be, you know, in a smaller group. It's more intimate. Like they have more time with him, and they get to enjoy the food. Everyone gets food, and also John can't cook for like 100, 200 people, but for 20 people, 25 people, sure." And it's a great experience. I've done several of them with him. They're fantastic. And it's great because, you know, it's something that, you know, he started, you know, a few years ago, and he's just continued to do it. And there's some special edition cigars that he has made for for those events. Not really new blends. They're existing blends, but he's got special wrappers that he has made with the funky designs and stuff on them that they do that are custom to each retailer. So, I mean, the events wise, they've got a handle on. They have a demand with their product. Everyone always makes the comments, "Well, I can't get them." Yeah, well, they crank out cigars, and as soon as they do come in, they fly off the shelves. You know, so they definitely have their consumer base. They have their connection. They got their events down.
Yep.
Their products have been great. I look forward to see more things. I think they got some other stuff they're working on too. I won't disclose anything specific because I'm not sure, but I think I've heard some more stuff they're working on too.
You'll see more.
So
Guaranteed.
again, they're continuing to do different things, more things. So they're staying relevant. They're not just continuing to do the same thing over and over again. They're always working on fresh ideas. You know, talking to John, I mean, just hearing some of the things that, you know, that even ideas he comes up with. I mean, it's crazy, and they execute them very well too. That's the other thing. They do all of these things, but they execute it very well, and the consumers are really enjoying it. And that's one of the things I see
I agree.
really dominating right now.
Yeah.
Next on the list, who we got?
Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust.
Oh, see?
Our buddy Jeff called it in their Saka and DT&T. And that is true. I mean, the Saka Con, crazy. The Stillwell Holiday, that I don't think, did it go out yet?
The retailers are getting them now.
People are going to go wild. If you haven't, I think we didn't have the cigar, but I smelt that blend. And oh my God, you're going to want it. If
Yeah.
you love Christmas cookies, eggnog, anything holiday, that cigar is going to be like, I want to sit down with some spiked eggnog and smoke this
You know,
cigar.
one of the things I want to tell people when it comes to the Stillwell stuff, I mean, obviously, it's not the first pipe tobacco cigar that's ever been made, but it's kind of special in how it was made and the tobaccos that it was made with. So that's what makes it unique. But, you know, I'm not a huge pipe smoker or a flavored or infused cigar smoker, but what I will tell you is, you know, I smoked the Stillwell Stars, and I was really impressed with them, and I would recommend, even if that's not really your thing, even if whether you like soccer or you're not like a soccer smoker, try them. You might be surprised. I have to tell you, I was really surprised with how those cigars came out. I really enjoyed them. And again, that's not something I would smoke all the time, but I really enjoyed my experience with all of them. I think that he did a great job with that. Paladin de Saka was another one that came out recently. You know, it's funny. Coop was talking about that one with me on the last Spare Notes show. He had recently done a review of that, and I think he gave it like a 92, 91, 92 maybe.
That was a really good cigar.
That was really, really good.
The Bewitched.
The Bewitched was good.
That was a great
the
cigar.
Muestra de Saka.
Yeah.
Yep. But then again, you get down to, you know, the consumer engagement. Steve is probably one of the most accessible people in the industry. I mean, he's all over social media. He does events.
He was on Micallef off the record this week.
He was. He was.
I know I'm laughing, but like he even does like other cigar like manufacturers. He is everywhere.
You know, if you give him a bottle of Noah's Mill and a couple of his test blends, he'll show up
He'll
anywhere.
go on any show.
He'll show up anywhere.
He loves it.
But no, I mean, he's engaged. He has his following.
You know, we talked about this. I wouldn't be surprised if in another 5 or 10 years he would be on the In Control list.
He has potential to be there, obviously. Yeah, I mean, Steve
with some time.
He's been around and he worked for other companies, and his cigar industry tenure is not just DTT. I mean, he has the knowledge and the skill set to do that, without a doubt. I mean, it's one of those things. You just got to continue to grow the brand. Just keep, you know, putting back into it and making it bigger. And if he keeps doing the things he's doing, yeah, sure. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I mean, I could see Saka really growing that brand really big someday. But yeah, his consumer engagement, the products he makes, his consistency, again, just these are things. And right now, yeah, Saka's hot. I mean, he's coming out with new stuff all the time, you know, on a year-to-year basis. It always flies off the shelves. He does a lot of stuff with Smokin. You know, the Red Meat Lovers Club. I mean, that's a Saka cigar that it's turned into its own brand.
Yeah.
He's just done really well. He's really well rounded, and
he's hot.
He's hot.
He made the hot list.
He's on the hot list.
Now on the flip side, I would say Foundation. Also hot.
Foundation. That's a good one.
Also on the hot list.
You know,
I feel like we're talking Mean Girls every time I say this.
I know, right?
Like there's a hot. Well, I think it's the Burn Book, whatever.
Well, so you talk about Steve Saka.
Yeah.
Right, you want to talk about, you know, old school Drew Estate, right? Saka.
Yeah.
And Nick Melillo.
I know.
Foundation. So Nick has done a good job too. I mean, he's another one that's got a nice wide selection of cigars, doing a great quality, great blends. Some of the new stuff he's got out right now, like the Olmec lines.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I know. I smoked that for the first time. What was it, last week or the week before?
Wow.
Good.
I mean,
okay, that sounded like
that's
great.
definitely, the Olmecs are definitely in contention for this year.
Absolutely.
They are definitely in contention for this year. I'm going to throw that out there. They meet the new deadline, which was October 30th.
Yep.
To be on the list. So anything released October 30th before this year is eligible for the 2022 Cigar of the Year list. Olmecs are... Absolutely. I don't know where they're going to rank yet because we haven't gotten into it, but somewhere they're on the list. I mean, they are. I mean, they're another one. They are just... You know, they have the Charter Oak stuff, which is a little bit more approachable in terms of price, but it's good quality for what it is. You know, you got the Olmecs have come out. You have the Wise Man collection. I mean, again, another long spectrum, great following, great consistency, great products.
Yeah.
It's one of those brands that I definitely hear a lot about in cigar conversations. I see a lot of people smoking it.
Yeah.
He did a firecracker with United Cigar last year. Was that last year? He did a Wise Man Maduro firecracker. In fact, I think almost everyone we've talked about on this list has done a firecracker with
I
him.
just feel like, so he's hot and popular right now. I feel like what ends up happening is with every release, he gains a lot of traction, like Foundation, but then I feel like it doesn't stay consistent compared to some other brands with certain releases, right? So
I can see that.
there's lots of ebbs and flows. I feel like with more longevity in the brand, it's going to be consistent. But he is hot right now. I will
Right
say
now,
that. Yeah.
Right now he's hot.
Yeah.
He had a decent year at a good trade show.
Yep.
Some new releases. His products are doing
Yep.
good. I think those Olmecs are really going to carry him on lists this season
Yeah.
for Cigar of the Year. Espinosa.
Ooh. Okay. I had
Not
another one, but
not even just because of the knuckle sandwich stuff.
no, take that even out of the equation. It's good, but
It's good, and it's been very
yeah.
successful for them, and we've talked about
Yep.
this, and even Saka said when he was on the show a month ago or so.
Yep.
We talked about celebrity brand cigars and how they have a reputation for not really being successful.
Yep.
And Saka said that too, and Saka, even said one exception he would give would be Espinosa and the knuckle sandwich stuff, and because he thinks that, in his words, I think he said he just felt Guy Fieri is really not the same kind of celebrity cigar smoker a lot of these things usually are, and there's a better chance of promotion and stuff like that. He saw it as working better. I see it as working better. But even outside of that, just there are other stuff too that they've been working on the last couple of years. I mean, they've had some great stuff. I mean, Hector was on the show in the spring. We talked a little bit about what they were going on. They got I can't even talk. Lazona Palooza that they do,
Yep.
which is a very popular event that they do. A lot of Espinosa cigar smokers, they usually attend that event, so they're very engaged with the consumer base. Again, they stay consistent. They have some really successful products out there right now. It's
Yep.
one of those, I would still, it's a boutique level brand, but I see in a majority of shops as I travel around, and we travel around, we go into cigar shops, we go in the humidor, we do the full tour, we see everything they have, right? Espinosa usually, I would say 8 times out of 10, Espinosa is a brand I usually see somewhere in most
yeah.
humidors.
Absolutely.
And people are buying them and smoking them, and they have a good following. I think they're definitely hot right now. I would say a majority of their hotness is probably because of Knuckle Sandwich, but I'm going to also say it's not only because of Knuckle Sandwich. It's just been a good bump for them.
Yes.
But everything they do has been great. You said you had another one that you wanted to add.
United.
United. Yes.
And boy, did they! They just came out the gate. I feel like in the second half of the year, Red Anchor, Alfonso, Yaya, right?
Mm-hmm.
They I feel like I'm missing another one. They had quite a few, but damn.
Well, they also had the Arnold Andre
Okay.
that they started distributing. There's
Yep.
the Terra Nova.
Yep.
And the oh shit, why am I blanking on it?
That Alfonso though,
Why am I blanking on that? The other one. But yeah, no, the Alfonso. I mean,
if you thought Atabey, if you were able to get your hands on an Atabey and you love it, Alfonso is a whole nother level.
That Alfonso. Oh, Montosa. I'm sorry, Montosa was the other Arnold Andre. We talked about that a little bit already. The Alfonso, it's what I expected. The quality and the tier level, that was, on par with Atabey and Byron. But it was different. It was definitely, for me, I took it between Atabeys and Byron, kind of like something that's kind of in between the two. Just a little bit more refined. I thought it was great. I had a couple of them. I thought that was a great cigar.
And the Red Anchor.
Red Anchor was really good, too.
Yeah.
Red Anchor was really good.
They have stepped up their game.
One thing I'm going to say is I thought the price point on Red Anchor was a little too high, but it's a good cigar. I see them doing good things. They did a Rocky Patel silver bar that came out a couple weeks ago, I think now.
The not chocolate bar.
It's not a chocolate bar. It is just a silver bar with 3 different box press Rocky Patel cigars inside that they did with Rocky Patel. But yeah, no, we were talking about United at the beginning of the year, going into the trade show. We talked about who's big that we, is going to have a good show.
And United was on that list.
United
because
was
this
like-
was their like return. This was in the selected tobacco booth. Obviously, blew everyone away as it usually does.
Yeah, it did.
Like-
And they had a lot of new stuff. The Byron a Peak Poemus humidors.
And we saw that in person.
We did.
Beautiful. That is a beautiful. I mean, you ain't getting it, so don't even think about it. But
It's $3,000.
it's $3,000. I know he would if he could, but I'm telling him no. Right now.
We also saw some stuff that Nelson had created, and I think they're one-off pieces he made, you know, kind of just for show, but stuff he's working on. Like they had the black Atabey humidor at the center of the booth, and it has 5 of every vitola inside of it. And I think they're only making like 200 or 300 of them. Very limited. And they weren't available this year. I think they're saying they're trying to get it for next year.
Yeah.
But stuff like that. He also had, I don't know if you remember, he also had like these very ornate ashtrays for the Alfonso line.
Yes.
That I don't even think have gone out. But like they were on display. Like they have so many things that they're working on that even if they're not out now, I'm sure they're going to come out.
Yeah.
That like, damn. And that's just selected. That's not even, like you said, Red Anchor, Yaya,
It's
all the
not
other
even
stuff.
United.
And the firecrackers that they do every year. I feel like every year the firecracker series gets bigger and bigger and more popular. It's getting a bigger release. They're definitely hot. They're hot. They're not the biggest. They don't have like control over a lot. They're still, I would say, they're on a smaller scale in the big picture, but they're growing. They're getting out there, and the stuff they have is just amazing.
Yeah.
Hear nothing but good things about it. Hear people talking about it. See it. Yeah, they're definitely on the hot list.
Yeah.
So
And I think that's our hot list right now.
that's our hot list.
That's our hot list. And we will be posting matching articles for this, so there might be other things that we decide to add, but
That's
it
true.
for right now.
The actual written pieces might have
Yeah.
maybe some more names on them.
We'll see.
Next
We'll
in our
see.
final list is who to watch.
Who to watch. So this is where we're going to close out with who do we think that they're budding stars. Is that the right word? Budding.
It's an interesting word.
Okay.
That was nice.
Don't they? I don't know. I feel
Oh,
like
I liked
people
it.
use that
No, I liked
saying.
it. That wasn't negative. I liked it.
Okay.
It was good. It was
All
different.
right. Yeah.
Um,
Rising. Oh no, maybe rising stars. I'm an idiot. That's fine.
Well-
I'm drinking my mojito.
Well, like Nicole kind of mentioned before with one of the brands, like this is the idea behind the list though, is that there are ebbs and flows. So like there are
Yeah.
people on the list now that maybe like they wouldn't be on the list like 2 years from now, right?
Yeah.
It changes. So again, there's people that maybe are on the who to watch or even just who's hot that maybe were not on the list at all, or maybe there was some people who maybe were more in control or more hot a few years
Yeah.
ago and now they're not. But
Yeah.
the first one on the list for me is JC Newman. Now, JC Newman, obviously been around a long time. They're like Fuente. They're bigger of the family brands.
Yep.
I
I feel like they've been under the radar though.
do. I feel like
I feel like they just haven't gotten love lately. And maybe like over. They're just there.
I feel like
Not in a
you're-
bad way.
No, but I think that every brand goes through this, and there's another one that I'm going to mention later, and I'll explain why. But every brand goes through a year or two where maybe just their focus is on other things that need to be done. That maybe they're not highlighting certain things, or they're not doing as many events or whatever, but they're doing some more back of house stuff that's going to set them up for things down the road. JC Newman is still a solid company. They have been around a long time. They make a lot of products. They do a lot of great things. They're partnered with the Fuente family. The Diamond Crown line is another one of those cigar brands that's very iconic. But you're right. They've been a little under the radar. But some of the things that they've been doing and some of the stuff that we saw at the trade show, I'm getting the feeling like they're getting their wheels going to maybe have a good year
think
next year. A
They
big
just
year.
put a lot of energy into the El Reloj
Yes,
factory.
which is cool.
And that's great because if you haven't been down there, it's worth the trip. The tour is beautiful. The facility is beautiful. But that's sort of, I feel like it's been their baby for a while
Yes.
with like doing events and just in promoting that. And I think their time to come back and focus on the cigars is coming,
Yeah.
you know?
But again, they've been doing stuff like that, which is great. You know, they're working on the factory. They got the hotel that they're working on. They tweaked the blend on the Black Diamond from the Diamond Crown line. El Baton saw a facelift where they saw the Angel Cuesta cigars were on display at the trade show. I'm not sure when those are coming out, but we saw those. Like, that's something new. I will say the Bricktober Fest event that they've been doing the last few years, I feel like it's been getting bigger and bigger every year. And I think long term, that's going to be one of those things that kind of comes into being a big deal for October. When you think of October and events and special stuff people do, I mean, you look at like Tatawahi, Pete does the Monster Series and stuff like that. You know, JC Newman, I think, will be right up there with the Brick House thing. I remember it last year. This year was a little bit bigger. I think that's great. Yeah. I think they have something there. Yeah. That as they grow, that's going to be a big deal. So, like I said, they have definitely irons in the fire, and they have stuff that they're working on that I think is just going to bring them back up to the top in the next 12 to 18 months.
Now, I love some of these comments because I feel like some people know where we're going here.
Yagua, that's another one.
And that was a great cigar.
Those are fantastic.
Yeah. So Alex,
they're very funny looking because of how they're made. And if you don't know,
it's a wet
press.
It's a wet press, yeah.
So they're very like oddly shaped. But I'll tell you, the cigar.
And it looks like a really, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a rough looking cigar. It's a toothy looking thing.
Not only that, it's just because it doesn't have like a very symmetrical shape to it. You know, it strikes you as like, what is that? Yeah. But I'll tell you, even with its odd appearance, the way they dress it up though is really nice. And the
that
cigars
box,
are great.
It kind of looks like a treasure chest, like a pirate's treasure chest. I don't know where I got that from, but it looks like it.
The other thing I like about that box is the cigars breathe very well in that box.
Yes.
For your humidor, which is a huge plus because it's not completely sealed, so that it can really breathe the tobacco.
But if you like unique cigars and just trying new things and expanding your palate, try that one if you haven't already. Alex said lumpy bumpy goodness. I agree.
Yeah, I like that. I like
that.
But
but more so in the comments on our ones to watch list, Mitchell is on point with his answer because All Saints is on our list of ones to watch.
So we recently welcomed Mitchell to the Smokin Tabacco team. Let's give him a round of applause. Congratulations.
Yeah, Mitchell is our official cigar reviewer.
As well as one other. Yep. Our good friend Kevin Acuff is going to be working with us as well. So another round of applause for him. Kevin, he'll be making his review debut soon. But Mitchell had a big week. So Mitchell's first review at Smokin Tabacco went live yesterday. It was the Micallef Riata Corona Extra.
And I don't think we actually even officially announced, but we are getting into the review game. I don't think like we.
Well, there are reviews. Reviews have been created and they're going to be going out. So I decided to give Mitchell the first one, and his was the first one to go out. So you can read that at SmokinTobacco.com. I'm not going to say anything else about it because I want you to go read it. So the Micallef Riata Corona Extra. Yeah. Reviewed by Mitchell. No, but he's right. All Saints. So and the other thing I'm going to say is Mitchell is currently doing some reviews on All Saints cigars right now too. And again, Mitchell's from Canada, for those who don't know. So Mitchell also doesn't have the same kind of access to cigars that many of us in general don't have in the U.S.
So we have to smuggle them to Mitchell.
Kind of, sort of.
We've been watching too much of.
It's not like they're illegal like Cubans are here. It's just like you.
No, but what's the show we've been watching in bed at night?
Oh, To Catch a Smuggler.
To Catch a Smuggler.
Yeah, that's been our shit.
That we've been watching the Canadian border.
That's like what we watch when we get into bed at night. We just be like, oh, we're gonna go on the smuggling show. It's awesome. I'll tell you, that show is it's insane to watch. It really is.
It's essentially where do they find the drugs? Usually it's in someone's ass, vagina.
I get excited. You know, my favorite part is the airport one. Yeah. Because like it's always they're profiling people. Then they pick people out and they ask them questions, and then they're always like, this guy's sweating too much. You know, he might be hiding something. And you're like, they go and they dissect the luggage. The guy's story's not on point. You're like, oh shit, he's smuggling something. And then the best part is, especially when they don't find something, and they'll be like, yeah, I mean the story didn't add up, and he was really nervous, but we didn't find anything. So unfortunately, we didn't catch him this time. And
they're like so bummed to not catch someone. But at the same time, we watched an episode the other day, and they put this dude on blast because he just went to Colombia to do some BDSM stuff, and they pulled out his leather hood, and they just like
they
sex
toys
gone
in
through
his
all
bag.
of his like sex toys on camera. This poor I think he was like Polish or something. I don't know, but They put him on last.
Well,
Great show, you guys.
Yeah, it's a great
It's on.
show.
Isn't it on like Discovery?
Nat Geo.
Nat Geo.
Nat Geo. Yeah.
So shameless plug for that, but.
But anyway, getting off topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, All Saints. All Saints is still a growing brand. Mickey Pegg spearheads that brand. Many people probably know Mickey from some of the other things he's done. He's worked with CAO. He's worked for Davidoff. Now he's got his own brand with All Saints. Yeah, I mean, they're a small brand, but they're doing good things. They have great cigars. They had the number 2 cigar, as Mickey likes to call it, the Ricky Bobby Award. The All Saints St. Francis Robusto was our number 2 cigar of the year in 2021. The All Saints, the St. Francis Colorado, I think is going to be on the list this year too. I really enjoyed that cigar. Doing some good things, slow and steady. He's not huge yet. He's not everywhere. They're still getting the brand out there, but slow and steady. The long term to watch.
But his cigars are really good.
They are.
Yeah.
And Mickey's one of those guys too that he's the right guy to do this for himself too. He's a lovable guy. Who doesn't love Mickey? I mean, he's the best. He's out there on the road. He's in shops. Give him some time. That brand's gonna grow.
One to watch and try his stuff. It is really good.
Oh, Alex, I remember that one. The guy with like 80
I just
pairs
said
of
that.
sneakers.
I go like, what was he doing with all those shoes?
I know.
Sorry.
I remember that. He was like, I just really like shoes. And the guy was all disappointed because he was like, it's so weird that he's got that many shoes, but they didn't find anything on him.
Yeah.
And they were all like butthurt about like, we didn't catch him. It's like, shouldn't you be happy that people aren't smuggling drugs? Like they don't catch someone and like, we didn't get him. It's like, so he wasn't carrying drugs. It's a good thing. Who cares? It's just funny. I'm sorry. So where were we at? I lost.
Well, I have another name, and this one it might be controversial.
Okay.
But I think Luciano, with all of the, the drama lately. But I still think he's one to watch.
It's funny, if we had done this like 5 months ago,
it would have been a non-negotiable. He would have been on the list.
Well,
actually, he would have been maybe.
Well, what I was gonna say was
if
if we did this list 5 months ago, it would have been them and Crown Heads together, right? Because they were all under one umbrella. Now, obviously, most people know at this point that's not the case anymore, and it didn't really end well. I'm interested to see what Luciano has to offer as he grows as well. He has some really great cigars on his own. The Mas Igneous cigar that he just released is a great cigar. He's been getting a lot of love the last couple of years. Now, unfortunately, this situation hasn't been a good one, obviously, and I don't think it's completely sorted out yet. But it will be interesting to see kind of how he goes. I'm gonna say the exact same thing for Crown Heads. Crown Heads is a brand that I really love right now. That is a brand that is still growing. They're doing great things. I mean, they got their Las Calaveras collection. They got the Mil Diaz. They have the Juarez is a great cigar for the money.
And I think now as both of them sort of separate and create their own paths moving forward, definitely one to watch.
Crown Heads also just brought in Tim Ozinger.
Yep.
So that's gonna be a whole new dynamic for Crown Heads just on that side. So I'm gonna say, even though they are separated now, kind of hand in hand, like we're gonna mention both of them on this list because I think they both deserve to be there.
Yes.
Which is a good
one. I
one.
didn't get there yet, but I was getting there. But both of them.
Yeah.
And I think, we'll just see, because I really think this next year is gonna make or break them as they move past this drama.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the more dramatic cigar splits that we've seen.
And shit happens. You know, and I think that time heals all, and time will heal these wounds for both of them, and they will go in their separate ways, and they'll do their own great things, hopefully. So that's why I deem them to watch, because it's still too young. There's still time for both of them to still blossom their own flowers and do well. So.
Their own flowers.
Well, you know what I mean. It's just there's still time. It's not like this is like, well, it's been 4 years and like Luciano hasn't done shit. Like I still think they're on there to watch. They've been doing great things. So I mentioned this before, how there was someone on here that's kind of on here twice, kind of sorta. We mentioned STG as STG, right? as a whole, as all the brands in the control.
Yep.
Ones to watch, we're going to be specific
Yep.
to Room 101. The reason is because, look, that's already a brand that's been growing, and Matt's been doing a great job with that. But now that brand is under the ownership and the direction, not only Matt, but STG general, it's interesting to see how that is going to continue to grow the brand, which I think is, it's a big part of why Matt sold it to them, and that's something we'll talk with Matt about in a couple weeks when he comes on the show. But yeah, I mean, it was a brand that Matt, at his own capacity, had gotten to where it was, sells it to STG. Now you have a company that can push it even further than Matt could have. Interesting to see where that brand goes. How much bigger will it get? Time will tell. That's definitely one to watch.
Yep. I agree with that.
So I would put that one on the list too. I feel like the ones to watch list is probably going to be the longest because I think there's a lot more brands out there that will be on, that just deserve to be on that list versus other lists. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to make
you know
the
what I'm
in
getting
control
at.
list, to be honest, unless you
Yeah.
are a big manufacturer. Who's hot? I mean, not everyone can be popular all at once. That's the truth, right? So, yeah, I feel like, so this is kind of the list where some people get love because we're not sure, but they're putting out good stuff. Where are they going to go? Because it hasn't been consistent. I guess that's actually not a true statement.
It's a list. It's a list where they deserve the love, but we just need to see a little bit more. You know? But they're not doing bad things.
Yeah.
To be clear, they're not doing bad things. They're doing good things. It's where those good things will lead them. So.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a little bit of. I almost had a hiccup there.
You did have a hiccup there.
There was one more that I wanted to add to the list, and it just dropped off my mind here.
Well, I have a couple extra.
Go ahead.
So I do think Micallef, especially with this move recently to sort of cut out the bold collection.
Oh,
I think they're taking a step back.
Great for them.
And I personally feel I love Micallef. I'm a big Micallef person.
Oh yeah.
That they haven't quite got the love that they should have.
Yeah,
with some retailers, I should say.
They definitely have some things that they've been ironing out over the last 2 years.
Yep.
And I think we're starting to see that come into
and they're
play
now in this refining phase.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Of really like, okay, well, this is what has been working. This is what hasn't been working. And I think, there's nothing... It's a good thing to sort of reevaluate where you are and not just be like, keep going and, and just pushing for something that might not be working for you as a company.
Yeah.
I think losing those, it's going to be more appealing for retailers to take them on just because there's less shelf space to sort of commit to the brand.
Well, first of all, I think cutting out the bowl line is great. And I've said this for a while, and I've said this to the guys at Micallef. Like, look, I think, and I've said this before, I always thought Micallef's thing that they have with Gomez Sanchez family and their legacy brands, I think is great. It's a story.
And to focus on that story.
They have a story to tell with some good quality cigars. They got something special with that.
Yep.
Then there was this Grande Bold collection. And I'm like, okay, not bad, but it's a lot of SKUs for a company of their size. And, we talked to Dan and we found out, hey, we're going to be cutting this out. And I said to Dan, Dan, I'll be honest with you. I think this is great. I think this is great. You can really highlight the Gomez Sanchez, the legacy brands, tell that story.
The Leyenda, the Migdalia, the Riata. Like, those cigars are phenomenal. Like, I think it's a great thing for them. It just is. I love the Leyenda.
Yeah. Micallef A
is one of my
has been a popular one for them. The Riata I really enjoy. I agree. They've done some repackaging.
Yep.
They've really uniformed all their bands and their boxes and stuff like that.
The repackaging is gorgeous, I think.
We've seen some of the stuff that like the collector's edition that they just did was a really nice presentation. The Migdalia special edition that came out earlier this year, we love that cigar. We've got tons of those. We couldn't get enough of those. So yeah, I would say the last couple of years, Micallef has been in a place where they've needed some things that they needed to work out, but they've been doing it. And they're really setting themselves up for some really good success long term, and it'll be just exciting to see where that brand goes now that they've really started to kind of get themselves where they need to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see. So they are one to watch.
Yeah, definitely one to watch. What other one did you have? I think you said you had a couple.
I'm going to smoke my cigar because I forgot. It's at that point. I mean, we're at the...
There was one more.
So
there's one more I wanted to add, but given some recent news, I don't know.
Ooh, who did you?
I wanted to say Adventura.
Someone did say that in the comments, one to watch, but here's the thing.
But I'm concerned now.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sure. If for those who don't know, the factory had burned completely to the ground. It was a total loss. They made cigars for a lot of other people. Bellotto, Caldwell Cigars.
And Bellotto was going to be on my list, I think, too. That was the other name.
They made some stuff for Matt. I don't know if he's still here. But they have been doing some good stuff. We saw some good stuff from them in the last, I would say, 2 years. Then this happens. So I hesitate because I'm like, there's obviously ways they can move on from this and survive this and whatever. But does it push them back way further? How does this affect them in the next 2 years? Is really the idea with the ones to watch list, I feel, is kind of like ones that you're going to see in the next year or two, like really, kind of spike up. I don't know. I mean, it's one to watch, but it's one to watch cautiously because I think you're going to have to see how they
bounce back.
They bounce back from that, which I think they can do, but it's going to be a lot of work. So, but I mean, other than that, yeah, they have some good stuff that they've been working on, and they've been doing stuff with other people. And Henderson was on the show this year or last year. We talked to him about some things. So
he was on this year.
They're definitely ones to watch. I just hope that things.
I hope they can bounce back, right? I mean,
yeah,
it's gonna be tough.
You know what? I'm sorry. I actually have one I wanted to.
I also have 2 more now that we're sitting here.
I actually have one that I had written down, because I don't have all the notes in front of me. I had one written down for the hot list that I think you'll agree with. If we want to circle back to that really quickly.
Let's circle back to the hot list,
because I don't want to leave it out.
Okay.
Alec Bradley.
Alec
Bradley.
Okay. Why? Not that I just want to hear your point.
Honestly, I've just been impressed with some of the stuff that they've come out with recently. Especially the double broadleaf. I thought was really good. Catching up with them the last couple of shows and have the trade shows, and Bradley's been on the show I think twice. The stuff that they're working on, the stuff that they got going on, and outside of just the Alec Bradley brand, they're really well covered, and I think they're making some good strides. And I think that they're definitely a brand I hear a lot about. I see a lot of praise about them. I've enjoyed a lot of the stuff that they've been putting out. I see them in the hot category right now, and you can disagree, and that's fine.
I slightly disagree. No hate for Alec Bradley. I just don't think there is. I don't know. I feel like they're almost there in popular, but they're just not quite. They also have their ebbs and flows.
I would put them on the hot list as of right now, but would you put them on the ones to watch list?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it just hasn't been consistent, and not like that what they're putting out isn't consistent, because it is. I just think the popularity hasn't been consistent.
Yeah. Okay. So, that's a fair point.
Yeah. That's just my only.
It's a fair point.
No hate for them. Love their cigars. Just, it's my thoughts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So ones to watch.
Ones to watch.
Couple other.
I mean, honestly, with that, I think I'm good unless you have another one you want to add.
So very small brand, Dissident. I think Sin is one to watch.
I think that she's going to bring a new dynamic to that brand.
Yeah.
I think that, it was a brand that we were familiar with before.
Mm-hmm.
And I had some of their stuff, and it was pretty good. I think that they didn't have someone like her who's taking it, being the face.
Yep.
And getting that traction around it. I think you're right. I think it's very early for them.
It is very, very early.
Very, very
I
early.
will say that. But I think
5 years from now, though, that could be a...
Yeah.
They have
she's literally
they
just
have
getting her
potential.
foot in.
They have the potential.
I see that she started to do some events,
Yeah.
which is cool. And I've heard their events are really cool. They have their event-only whiskey, I think,
They do.
that they do.
They do, yep. The Molotov was a limited edition that they did that's been getting a lot of praise.
Yep.
And I'm sure that I think they have more stuff like that they're working on. So
Yep.
very, very early.
Yep.
But you're right. I think in the long term, they're ones to watch.
Yep.
I mean, I think they have the potential to do some good things.
And I'm going to throw Crux on here.
Okay. Crux.
Yeah.
Ones to watch.
Ones to watch. Yep. I don't like their packaging is beautiful. Their cigars are consistent.
I'm gonna put them with kind of like what we were saying with Dissident. The only reason is I think they're great. I think their packaging is great. They have a great staff. All the other fundamentals that they need to be successful. The only big drawback from them right now is I don't see them enough everywhere.
And
they're
that's
very
but that's
limited.
very tricky because I just feel like up here in New England they're just not.
Not even in
They're
New
not
England.
here.
There's other markets that I see them not as strong in.
Yeah.
I think they can be, but they don't have enough.
And with expansion in that arena though,
Mhm.
I feel like that would greatly help them to become like just to have the visibility. I feel like people who smoke them love them.
Yeah.
They're always taking pictures of them, putting them out there, but like ones to watch, I think, with enough time, I almost want to compare it to like watering a seed. Like, they're in that watering phase. They haven't like
They're
spread
in
it up there yet.
what Matt would
Yeah.
call the salad days. Kind of,
Yes.
sort of.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yeah.
they're in
I can see that.
in the bigger picture. They're in the newer
Yeah.
phase. The salad days. But yeah, no, I mean, you're right. I agree with the potential that they have. I like them as a brand, but I really want to see them grow. And it's kind of like the same with like a couple of the other smaller brands we talked about. That they're doing good things. They're just very small, so they don't have a lot of reach. But I think that if they stay on and they continue to make the good decisions they've been making and all those things, continue to get into shops, do events, get the awareness out there, and just get them on shelves. Yeah, I mean, obviously, anyone could do that really if they do the right thing. But these are the brands that I think we see. Even if they're not in control or they're hot or they're just around, they're doing the things that are helping them get there. So, yeah, I guess in the long term I can see them too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it for me though. That's everyone that I
Yeah.
had to put on the list.
At least I say for right now, because I have a feeling like tonight we're going to be up watching How to Catch a Smuggler. We're going to be like, we should have said that.
Yeah,
That one should have been on the list too.
The live show part of this is more of a looser conversation. The written piece is going to be much more detailed. So when that goes out, it'll be posted on SmokinTabacco.com. You guys can read it. You guys can comment along, whatever. But again, those lists are subject to change, right? So this is something that we'll do. I don't know if we're going to do this quarterly or we're going to do this annually, but we'll do it, again, and we'll go back and say, okay, so from
I
the
feel
last
like
list,
twice a year.
Twice
like
a year.
like a mid-year check-in because things change, and that's why those lists can change. Someone who's hot at the beginning of the year, you might have not heard from them like the second half.
That's
Might
true.
have gone down.
That's true. So
Everything is subject to change. That's why, it's there. But I feel like quarterly.
yeah, maybe we do it end of year and then we do it around trade show time, either right before the show or like after the show, like from whatever we saw. We do like a mid-year check-in and we do an end of the year check-in. So
Yeah.
I think again we'll see this maybe sometime next
Ooh,
July.
maybe one before the show, and then one after the show after we see what's coming for the second half.
That's true.
I don't know.
You do one before the show for the first half of the year.
Yeah.
The show happens, and then for the end of the year, you see how what happened at the show played out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I'm
that's what
curious
we'll
to
do.
see that. So
I think that's how we'll do it. So we'll do this again. We'll do the same format. We'll do the three categories that we did. But other than that, no, I thought that was fun. That was different. It was interesting. And again, I think there's a lot of people who have cigars on all of those different sections of those lists. whether it's Hot, Control, Ones to Watch, they all, I think, for the most part, they have cigars to watch for the lists at the end of the year. Not even just our list, just all lists in general. You get the Half Wheel Consensus too, which is like a summary of all the lists together. So I definitely think that there's some good stuff out there, and as we get closer and closer to Cigar of the Year, we'll get a little bit more specific on that. But other than that, that was a good show, and that's going to do it for us.
When did we... Hold on. Okay.
What
Sorry,
you
I was I was trying to figure out when we rescheduled Oliver for. So next week on the show, we actually have Mickey Peg
That's right.
from All Saints on the
Represent.
show.
That's right. Mickey.
So that'll be a great show, and we can chat all things All Saints.
You want to talk about All Saints? Mickey
Yeah.
will be here. I didn't know that was next. I didn't know that was next week. I
That's
thought
next week.
That's next week. Damn, that's
That is
time.
next week.
Time is just going quick.
Yeah.
Well, I'm excited because I love Mickey. So.
So yeah, is there a spare notes this week?
There is. There's a spare note Saturday night. We will be back. Coop and I.
I feel like Coop's gonna critique this episode on spare notes.
Coop critiques everything.
I know. I feel like that's.
But it's okay.
So tune into spare notes if you want to hear a critique of this to Matt's face.
I do appreciate Coop's feedback, though. I trust him. I mean,
of course.
I know there's people out there that probably hate him, but it's fine. I trust him. So whatever.
We're good. So there's that, and then the week after we'll either have our pre-recorded episode or we'll just go live from whatever country we happen to be in that week.
I don't know if we're gonna do it while we're away. That's the only thing, because I don't know
if we can.
If we can, we might do something, but I think our regular scheduled programming may happen before any pre-recorded format. Maybe we'll go live. I don't know, but something will be done. I don't want to just skip the week because that would suck.
Yeah.
We already did that last week. So we can't do it again. I try to only miss like one show a year.
Or maybe we'll just do like an episode earlier on that week.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
We'll do something. But that is going to do it from the Smokin Tabacco show from Nicole and myself. Once again, we are live from the JC Newman Cigar Studios in Boston, Massachusetts. Thank you for being here with us. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to go to smokintabacco.com for more news and updates from the cigar industry. And as always, don't forget to follow us on social media and like and subscribe on YouTube, Rumble, and everywhere you get all of your podcasts from. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye, everyone.